today's recipe, we're going to be doing a stuffed spaghetti squash in the power air fry oven, so stay tuned. Okay, thanks for coming back. In this recipe, I'm going to make a spaghetti squash here. One of these melon-looking things. The reason why they call them spaghetti squash is after it's cooked, it's very stringy, it's very fibrous. It looks a lot like spaghetti. It doesn't taste like spaghetti, but we can definitely make it taste good. So this is just a small one. I didn't want one too big. It wouldn't fit in the power air fry oven. So I got a smaller one. It's enough for two. It makes a really good meal, and I'm going to show you how to set it all up. So let's get started here. First thing I want to do is I want to cut off the edges, the ends here, the little nub at the back and in the front here. It's also going to make it easy to cut once we do that. Okay, we're going to take that top off. And you want to make sure you use a nice sharp knife for this, otherwise you may slip off and it'll get ugly real fast. So take a little bit off. These here you can throw out. Now that you have flat spots on it, now you can sit it up and it's easier to cut down. So I'm going to put the knife in, and a big knife definitely works well. And that's it. It just comes open, and it looks a lot like a pumpkin. If you've ever cut open a pumpkin, it's got the seed and the fibers and stuff. I'm going to clean all that out. So I'm going to just use a spoon to help spoon all that out. And you can hold on to the seeds if you want and toast them up. They come up really good. I'm not going to do that here. So I'm just going to clean that out. Okay. And you could eat these fibers. I mean, it's nothing wrong with these. It's just cleaning it out, just more for presentation than anything else. Okay. I want to make sure I get all these seeds out. Okay, and do the same thing here. Okay, just all you want to do is scrape it. They'll come off easy enough. Okay, take that off. So we're gonna move that to the side here. And like I said, you can save these seeds and toast them up in your oven. I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, they're like pumpkin seeds. They're identical. Good flavor to them. There's some nice nutrients in there too. So first thing we're gonna do, I just want to point out that I'm going to use a square pan here. Both of them are not going to fit in this pan. So what I'm going to do is also use the tray, the catch tray that's in there. So I'm going to use 2 layers in order to cook these. One on the top, one on the bottom. I'm going to cook these face down. So what I want to do first is I want to oil these up. So I'm going to use a little olive oil here. And you want to put enough in there, just kind of layer it in there, just rub it in there. Just to make sure it gets all over, because this is what's going to help cook it. It's going to help toast it all up. Okay, so we're going to just rub that in there. I'm just going to season it, not too much salt, because I'm going to add some ham and you can add some bacon in there. That's going to add a little bit of salt to it. So I'm just going to add some pepper to the insides here. Everything's going on the inside here. We're not going to eat the outside, obviously that's too coarse. And a little bit of salt, not too much, depending on what you're going to stuff it with. For my purposes, it's going to be cheese, ham, and broccoli. And I'm also going to put a little bit of grated cheese in there. Just to add more flavor to it. And I'm going to put some olive oil in the bottom of this pan. Just to be able to seal it up and toast it. And you'll see what I mean when I put it in there. Okay, so really simple at this point. Take your pan face down, rub the oil in, and that's going to what that's going to help do. It's going to seal it in there. It's also going to help steam everything in there. So it's essentially going to steam this vegetable here. And I'm going to do the same thing to the base pan. Again, just a little bit of oil, just enough to coat it. Okay, and again, put this face down, just so it makes the seal, and again, it steams for you. What I'm going to do is I'm just take these, I'm going to slide them into the power air fry oven and set it for about 30 minutes. I've made this before. It took about 30 minutes to cook it. Then we'll take it out, stuff it, and throw it back in face up to be able to toast everything up. You'll see it'll be fantastic. Okay, so you can see the way I put it in there. I cut one of them a little bit smaller. One is a little bit bigger. It's going to go on the top in the bigger pan. So you can see I also put it in the center rack here. You'll have to adjust it depending on the size that you're using. So let's just close that up, start that up. Go bring it all the way up to 400 on that. That's as high as this power air fry oven goes, 400 degrees. And I'm gonna bring it up to 30 minutes. Again, I don't want it too mushy. I want to be able to get a little bit of a crunch out of it. Not raw, but more steam than anything. So we'll come back when I take it out. Now that I took the squash out, the spaghetti squash out, I had to reverse the bottom one to the top one after about 20 minutes and cook it for an additional 10 minutes. The one on the bottom didn't cook all that well and needed an extra 10 minutes, but about 30 minutes total for both, 20 for the first one on the top and an extra 10 for the one at the bottom. So about 30 minutes is all it took. So now let it sit for about 15 minutes or so, enough to cool. Otherwise these things are smoking hot. You don't want to touch them. You probably get scolded. So all you want to do is use a fork now to just break it up. And you want to just bring it in from the sides here. Okay, just to break it in and kind of make it so it's away from the sides, away from the skin, the rind. And you can see it looks just like spaghetti or spaghetti style. That's why they call it the spaghetti squash. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do both of them, and just be quick here. This is a pretty easy meal, pretty quick meal. You can pretty much set it and forget about it once you put it into the oven. Now in this stage here, I've got it all broken up. Okay. See, that looks excellent. Looks great. Just breaks up nicely. It's not overdone. It's not going to fall apart. It's not mushy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cheese, some ham, some seasoning, and this is just mozzarella cheese that I ground up. There's a block of mozzarella that I had. So you can use any cheese you want in here, and I'm just going to stuff it right in there, just to have some throughout. Okay. Then I'm going to add some of this steamed broccoli, little broccoli spears that I just steamed real quick in the microwave. Okay, just put that in there. And you can use as much as you want. You can stuff it as much as you want. I'm just pulling some of the guts out of the spaghetti squash just so I can get to the bottom and make sure cheese and the broccoli get all throughout. Okay, I'm going to use some chopped ham. This is just a smoked ham. You can use bacon if you have bacon. Bacon works fantastic in this. So I'll just stuff it right in there. Use as much as you can. I don't really think you can overdo it. Okay, so let's put that on in here. Put a little bit of this pesto. I had some homemade pesto that I made with some basil that we have in the garden here, and some cheese and seasoning and stuff in it. Just gonna throw a little bit on top again, just to add additional flavor to it, because the spaghetti squash is kind of bland. So anytime you can add a little flavor, it's best to do it. Okay. That's good. So I'm going to add just a pinch of salt, not too much, just for the top here. Okay, that's good. And a little bit of black pepper. Okay, and I've got some more Asiago Parmesan Romano mix here. And I'm just going to put some on the top here. Again, to add a little extra flavor. Okay. I'm gonna finish adding this mozzarella over the top. Okay. And just pack it right down into it here. It's going to melt all throughout. I'm also going to add some Italian breadcrumbs just at the top, just to give it a little bit of crunch at the top here, and it'll toast up nicely. Okay. And the final touch is going to be a little bit of olive oil at the top. So now, as you can see, I've got just the bottom tray. I'm using the bottom tray of the power air fryer oven. I think it works great for the 2 pieces. It gives it just enough. You can use it if you wanted to toast it that way too. I just thought I could do it on the 2 racks, but you could probably get away with doing it this way for this size here. So I'm going to put it in the power air fryer oven, about 400 degrees for about 10 more minutes, just until the cheese melts and gets nice and steamy. And then we'll come back and plate it up and see what it tastes like. Okay, it came out. It's still nice and hot here. Crisp up nicely. I just added some grape tomatoes here just to decorate it. And it also goes good with the meal. And to finish it off, I'm just going to add one dollop of sour cream right in the center. Okay, that's nice. And I'm going to add some chopped onion, some green onion to it. Okay. There we go. Throw it all on there. It's all good, all going to the same place. Okay, and as a garnish, just some basil. Stick right in the center here, just to give it a little bit more flavor. Here you go, a little bit more color. There you go. Now that it looks really nice, let's give it a taste here. So we're just gonna carve into it a little bit. Oh, this looks great. It's great. Oh, look at this, look at this. So let's grab a little bit of everything here. Just like spaghetti. That's really good. Sour cream gives it a little tang to it. Really good. If you like this video, go ahead and put some comments down and share it. And give me some thumbs up. Give me some likes on this. I'll see you in the next video.